All right, welcome back as we continue to cover the devastation of Hurricane Ida. I'm Martin Folse coming to you again, and let's roll in some footage we have from Cutoff, and we'll let this play as once again we talk about the narrative. Remember Katrina, I brought this up during Katrina, of why we name storms after people. Would you really want your name to be placed on Hurricane Ida or Hurricane Katrina? Or would you really like a Hurricane Andrew to come blowing over? I've just always been of the thought process that we shouldn't really name hurricanes or devastating events after people, because after all, some people have lived their whole life and are very good people, and then you get a storm like this and everybody teases them because their name is, after the storm and this and that. Why don't we just name it something else? Name it after, I don't know, dogs or something. Come up with ingenious names or funny names like you do for boats. But I just think to continue that process and to continue to do that and name these after people with, who've lived pretty good lives is just not a good thing to do. So I have the parish president coming on. I'm going to ask him just to come up here and talk with me. He's been busy around town. I've chatted with him on the phone a couple of times, but I can imagine. And we have Mike LaRussa just came in with him. So first of all, let me welcome the parish president as he comes in while we're live. And Mr. Dove, how are you, sir?
Ooh, running, Martin.
I bet. And we could come back to the desk if we can, Jay, and that way we can have a conversation with the parish president. We'll come back to that footage just so people will know we're coming back. So I'm joined now by the parish president of Terrebonne Parish, Mr. Gordon Dove, and I'll tell you what, it's, we talked about it many times. We dreaded that storm coming up. It came up. Who would have thought, after all the work that's been done on levees and the protection that people had from water, that the wind turns around and bites us in the butt? This is a storm for the record books, isn't it?
Yeah, Martin. When the hurricane first came ashore in Folse, we had probably 5 to 8 feet of water that came up against our levees before it made landfall. Then once it made landfall, and as you know, it made landfall, they claimed at 155, but I understand that they were clocking 195 in
Folse, huh?
In Folse. Yeah. And he actually recorded 185 at Dulac on a vessel that was over there. These seagoing vessels are very accurate about wind. I mean, they go across the sea, the oceans. And,
you have good instruments in them.
Right.
Sure.
And it would happen, like I'm sure you already explained to the public, what happened is as it started moving on shore, it went from Folse to right over Port-au-Champ, Montague, and then we started getting these winds out of the north. And normally the winds coming around from the north, generally, what I've always seen is not as bad as the ones coming out of the south, but they were. It was the same thing.
Well, I think what happened was, and we saw it while we were live that night, was I kept telling everybody the eastern side of this is going to be horrific, and it was. But the western side developed on land. It developed into a beautiful eye wall on the western side, and it sat over us for 8 hours. We got hammered for 8 hours.
And more, as it moved, that's right, and as it moved north, Homer was, as you know, right on that western eye wall, so it dumped 22 inches of rain on us, and luckily, our 110 pump stations all have backups, generators, and they were 100% operable. And as of right now, there is no reported flooding from the rains. And we may find out somebody flooded a little later on, but as of right now, there's nobody reported it. And So our pump system works fine. I mean, we could basically take a heavy rainfall at about any time with the system we have now, and we still improve. We get, and but the winds, I mean, there's nothing you can do about the winds.
No, the winds are totally, unless we could build a dome over
Yeah.
the parishes, that would be a little costly though.
Well,
for
you know,
sure.
more I've been traveling the whole parish, and if any houses built after 2006, when I was in the legislature 2006 under Kathleen Blanco, Governor Kathleen Blanco was governor. Bless her heart, she passed away. You know, we passed comprehensive building permit restrictions and laws, made the state law to follow what they call the International Building Code, which is generally 140 miles an hour south of basically the intercoastal and 150 miles north of the intercoastal. And you could see the houses that were built in that time were pretty good. You know, I think everyone experienced some shingle loss, but those homes less because under the minus, you know, this might seem minor, but it's not. Under the IBC code, you put seven nails in the shingle instead of 3.
Right.
My house was built 21 years ago with 3 nails. So my shingles, not all of them, but a bunch of them blew off.
I want to hold that thought. We're going to take a mandatory break here at the 7-minute mark. I'm going to come back as once again we look at footage we've been compiling over the last few days. And we'll show you a lot more of that. And then we'll talk about what the parish president sees from help coming in. We'll get his opinion on that. Don't go away.